we go.
Hey guys, back with another episode. Episode 10, believe it or not. 10 episodes in so far. So Derek is always, and I got Nick with me.
Hello.
And this week we are talking to Cameron Chimenti. Hope I said that right. Sounds right.
Yep, you did.
from 3C Guiding. So we got a pretty good discussion, I think, lined up for tonight. Obviously, Cameron, we want to talk about your business, what's going on, what you're doing out there, and then also kind of the whole reason we have you on here, kind of what started it and how we got connected to have you on the show was essentially like backcountry, emergencies, medicine, whatever you'd like to call it, and then being prepared for, for those things when they happen. Because I feel like the mentality of not all riders, but some riders is it probably, well, what are the chances it could happen to me? Probably not very high. But the reality is, I mean, you're playing a dangerous game, right? It's a dangerous sport that we do. So being prepared and avoiding those situations where you're caught out there is probably something people should know about and learn about if they haven't already. What do you think?
Yeah, like medic's not around the corner, ambulance. I mean, usually you got to self-evacuate or, search and rescue, if search and rescue can get to you, or conditions, all that, because it's not blue sky every day on the mountain. Your cloud cover, all that stuff. So a lot of times helicopters can't get into where you're at. So it's search and rescue coming in with the sled or something like that. And it gets serious very quick if you're not prepared. There's a lot of that people don't even realize that how serious and fast it can get. I mean, hyperthermia, stuff like that sets in, shock, all that. It's definitely way faster than people think. And if you don't have the training or the people or the equipment, it can go south very quick.
100%. And that's what I'd like to cover on this episode is just, that's kind of in the second part. And we'll get into that, but I think this is a good hook. It's a good opener for the show that'll keep people, listening to the end for sure, because this is pretty important. And I feel like it's not talked about very often. So
not enough, that's for sure.
Yeah,
there's a lot of it that, the cool shot and going out and riding and having fun is always awesome, but there's always that other stuff that is back there that you need to have already set up and ready to go if you do need it.
Absolutely. So first question, you probably know it's coming. Since you said you've listened to the show, which is awesome. Appreciate it. First sled.
A 1988 Yamaha SS 488 Fan Cool.
Nice.
There's a real monster in the mountains.
Oh, I believe it. Good old fans, man.
Oh yeah. Yep.
What was after that when you realized maybe this thing's not the best in the deep snow?
Well, I was 7 when I got that, so it was just
we could be here a while then.
Dad would get a new sled and just do the hand-me-down between me and my brother, and he'd always look for a good sled for my mom to be comfortable on. That's always the big thing. They got a new sled or different sled, and my mom wasn't comfortable on that one. It became either mine or my brother's, and my dad would always look for one to make sure she was comfortable on it, to make sure that, we could still keep going riding every weekend. My family, my grandparents I'm from DuBois, Wyoming, and my grandparents were some of the first snowmobile owners in the DuBois on the DuBois side of Togety. My family was one of the first snowmobile owners in that area. My grandparents went every weekend, and then my parents had them once they hit a position they could buy them, and it just kept going, and now it's my job, but it's kind of a crazy thing.
That's
kind of
cool.
crazy.
Yep.
So you've definitely seen the progression of snowmobiles while riding in the mountains your whole life.
Oh yeah.
Of the technology going through the snowmobiles. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, and it's crazy just the things like people back in the day bolting two sleds together to go up Jackson at the hill climbs, all kinds of stuff like that. It's there was all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the first sled that you bought on your own?
It was an '03 Summit 144. So I've been on Skidoo since the 90s.
There we go.
They've never given me a reason to change. That's the biggest thing is like, I haven't had that issue. I mean, there's people that say, oh, I had this issue. That I've never had that issue to where it was so bad that I was like, I have to change brand.
Ready to jump ship. Yep, definitely.
Yeah. No, that's good. Yeah. Some people have one breakdown and they just swear off on that brand forever.
Yep.
And I feel like snowmobile OEM, like a lot of people are diehard, like they got the gear that says, and I'm talking about Arctic Cat owners back in the day. I mean, they would wear their, they got the matching gear and their trailers are all stickered up, like probably got Arctic Cat underwear on. And I'm not picking on them, so people don't leave me hate comments, but I just feel like growing up, like you always knew who rode an Arctic Cat, even if they weren't riding it. That's what I'm trying to say. But
that's how you don't get your sled stolen. You put an Arctic Cat cover on it.
Yeah. But where I was getting at with that is there's some fierce brand loyalty out there. So, to each their own though. I don't knock it. So getting in, you mentioned it's kind of your full-time job now. How did this start? 3C guiding.
I mean, ridden my entire life, and way back, like, what was it, 04, 05, my brother and I actually owned a film company called 10 High, and we put out a bunch of videos.
I remember that.
That was back in the day. We put out 7 videos, all that, and then I actually worked at Toady Lodge for a while, mechanicking. That's how Skinner Bell works for me. Also, that's how we became friends and all that through that process. Then I had a friend here in Laramie that had the guiding permits, and he had a full-time job still, and I was actually doing all the guiding, and I actually approached him and was like, I can do this. Like, would you be willing? He couldn't, his job would not let him leave. I mean, he had a really good job, and he was unable to leave during the week to go do it. So I was doing all the guiding, and I just approached him about getting the permits from him and stuff. And he was all for it. And I took over for him, and that was in 2010. And that was the start of 3C guiding. And it's just been building and progressing ever since then. So we're going on our 16th year of guiding.
Yeah. Wow,
that's
man,
awesome.
Good for you.
And then, and then we also have permits on Togedy and Sierra Madres of Wyoming also. So we can guide all over the place in Wyoming.
I like the Madres.
So what got you into guiding versus just going out riding for yourself? Like what kind of sparked you to be like, I want to take these people out and, and show them around?
I didn't want a real job. So I had that entrepreneur bug that I wanted to figure out how I could run my own business, and I could ride snowmobiles. And I never, working at Togedy, I always said, there's no way I'll ever be a guide. There's no way I'll go babysit, all that. A few years later, I have permits and I'm guiding and figuring it out and all that it just worked out really well for me on what the plan was. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Nice.
It's I don't know. It's just been, everything's just fallen into place over the years.
Kind of like it when that happens. That's cool.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
So, what sets C3 Guiding apart from other companies in the area?
We set out to let everybody have the most fun. We were known for making sure everybody has a good time, getting back to the truck, no injuries. I mean, people have little injuries or get bucked off, whatever, but we have no serious injuries like ever. We've had a couple people have to have the ambulance called on them for their own thing, not that we put them in a bad situation. It was their one guy broke his leg, went by a tree, and his foot was off. That his toe was off. Hit a tree, snapped his ankle. We built. I mean, I used my shovel handles, made sure his foot was good, everything. Got him on a sled, rode out, and the ambulance met us in the parking lot, kind of thing. And that was. But there's really not very many. We haven't had very much stuff in all the years. Little bumps and bruises is it, and that's kind of the thing. Is everybody that comes to us knows that we're there to help them and we're there to have fun. We're not the drill sergeant. You have to do this. We're not putting you so far above and past your comfort zone, because that is one thing that I know that there's been people that have actually quit snowmobiling because they had guides that had put them so far above their comfort zone that it actually scared them to where they didn't want to come back snowmobiling at all, because they were so far out of their comfort zone. They thought they were going to die all day, all that stuff. And that, I mean, you don't want that. We want the sport to grow. Everybody wants the sport to grow, get bigger, fun. Yeah. I mean, technology, all that stuff, the sport has to grow for all that stuff. So we want everybody to make sure they have fun when they come out riding, or else we're going to lose those people that are in the industry that want to go ride or learn to ride. I mean, we have people all the time call and say, hey, we want to come out riding, or I've never ridden before, or I moved into the area. I mean, it's all kinds of stuff. Or we've also had the guys that, hey, I've came out with my buddy and he scared me to death. I want to come out with you and learn how to ride before I go ride with them again. And I've had people also come and say, my buddies go out riding 4 or 5 times a year out west. They told me I have to go learn to ride first before they'll take me out. So they come do riding clinics with us, stuff like that also, to where they have the bases, all that stuff to maneuver through the backcountry, to where their buddies aren't waiting all day, because then they get frustrated because it's their 1 or 2 trips a year and they spend an entire trip dragging another guy through the backcountry. Then everybody doesn't have a good time. Then one of the guys quits riding, or friendships are lost, or whatever.
Yeah.
And we're kind of just the ones there to make sure everybody has fun.
Nice.
Cool. Sounds tailored to everyone then, for sure.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. We can go from the lowest low, never ridden a sled, don't even know where the throttle is, to riding every day they're riding, they live in Montana, they come to Wyoming or whatever.
Yeah.
They ride every weekend, whatever. You can take those people too.
So you'll book riders of any skill level, basically.
Yep.
Okay. Cool. That's cool. What does a typical guiding day look like, from prep in the morning till getting home at night?
We're actually moving we've been based in Laramie for the past 16 years or what. So we're actually moving out to Centennial, Wyoming, and we'll be at Old Corral this winter there, because just our competition went out of business this year. So now we have to be able to bring in all the machines. We have 25 machines this year, just so that we can hopefully handle the influx of from the loss of the other company. And we're moving out there. So we'll probably be there at, say, 7:30 in the morning. So leaving town between 6:45 and 7 in the morning, get out there, figure out all the machines that we need. If the guides are going out, we gonna get all the machines prepped, oil, all gas, all that, and then people will start coming in about 8:30 in the morning, and if it's self-guided or we're not guiding them, they're either taking the machines or we'll be taking them up to a trailhead that's about a mile up the road, dropping them off, their cell service, all that. They can leave from right there. Or if they are guided, we'll take the machine up the mountain, get ready to go, and hit the trail, get out in the backcountry as soon as we can. We don't like riding trail, so as soon as we can get off the trail, that's our goal, basically. If that's the style of riding people want. If they want tree riding, we go there. If they want to ride the trails, we'll go there. Or if they're kind of boondock meadows, whatever, we can get. I mean, we have all different areas and spots we go to make sure everybody gets what they want. And then we get back to the truck no later than 4:30 at night, and because that's most people are tired before that. You guys know, coming from lower elevation, we ride about 9,500 feet to 11 here, so there's not much oxygen for people. They're puffing and puffing. So there's a lot of days. I mean, that there's a lot of guys that they're tired at 2:00 or whatever, and we'll come back. It just depends. And our goal is to make sure everybody has fun throughout the day. I mean, we could easily go smoke somebody in an hour. I mean, because we are used to the elevation. And somebody that's not, they could be wore out in an hour just by just us riding, but we're used to the elevation and them not being able to breathe and less oxygen, getting stuck, all that stuff, helmet, balaclava, everything you got on your head, all the other gear. Yeah, you can wear somebody out very fast, but that's not our goal. I mean, our goal is to make sure we go all day and show everybody a good time. There is the guys that are like, well, I'm here, I'm going to go gung ho, and it doesn't matter what I mean, where we're at, and they're just going to go hard. But then as a guide, you actually learn to see somebody starting to get tired, and you start backing off where you're riding or where you're going and stuff like that, because you don't want an injury. You don't want to smash sled. You don't want, any of that stuff, because, I like my bed. I don't want to sleep outside at night.
100.
So we make sure that's what we do. And then, we get back we'll be up there. So we'll get back around 4:45 probably. Check in sleds, make sure whatever's broken, if there is anything broke, then if it's going out the next day, we fix it. So, it could be we've left the shop at 1:30 at night.
Some late nights, yeah.
Back at it the next day, and it's work for 3 months, and you can't take those days off. You can't just call somebody and say, "Yeah, I'm tired today." So, and then every day, as long as we can go.
So you kind of touched on this a little bit. How do you tailor your guiding style for riders of completely different skill levels, but in the same group? I'm sure you've had that come up before.
Yeah, yep. I've had somebody show up on like a ZX chassis, and a guy show up on the best boosted sled. I'm like, what are you guys doing? And they say, oh, well, we ride in the UP like this all the time. And it's like, it's totally different riding here. So you guys are going to, one of you is going to be unhappy. But we make do. And a lot of times the next time they come, the dude that didn't have the boosted sled has a boosted sled, just because he was like, man, that guy ripped up that hill. That was so awesome. So yeah. They still get it home for the UP. They go beat that thing at the UP, but they come out here with the new sled and have fun. So and that's the thing is you figure out,
you
okay,
gonna learn today.
Yep. Yeah. And that's the thing is and I've had the guy do that, and then by noon, he's like, tomorrow I'm renting a sled. Like, it's not like he just said, all right, yeah, I can't do this for 3 more days on this. And they just if we have a sled available, they just rent the sled for the next day and go have fun and learn if they want that sled. Or we have non-turbos and turbos, so they might rent a turbo one day and a non-turbo just to see where their riding ability is on what one they want to ride. And taking out a person, those groups, like, okay, we can take the guy on the turbo sled up in the trees over here, he can have fun, and the other guy can be over in these trees, it's not as steep and stuff, and they both can have a ride and have fun. And that one does happen there. Or wives or whatever. We have guys that are on the same sled that one's abilities are far higher than the other one. So, okay, we're going to go over here. You guys go over there. Well, we all have radios now. I mean, when I first started guiding, nobody had radios. Nobody even knew what radios looked like. And now it's like you can't go in anywhere without them. And so then it's like, all right, one guy radios, hey, I'm stuck. So everybody goes and helps. And that's like helping each other dig out too. That's another huge saver on energy and stuff like that.
For sure. Definitely. What's your typical group size?
Really, we'll go up to 8 people with one guide, and then after that we have another guide with us.
Gotcha.
And that's, I mean, we had a group, there's 16 people a couple years ago, but they had already like grouped off. I mean, we went from 19 to 75, and they had already been like, the 3 old guys were like, oh yeah, we'll just stay over here. And they had already like grouped up on their way out to where we didn't even have to figure that out. Like they all had radios. We'd stop and be like, hey, this is our spot. We're staying. Like the older guys would cruise around, and you'd be getting towards noon. They'd be radioing me, where are we going to start the fire? And we'd go hang out and eat food. And then, and we did like 5 days like that. And everybody was like grouped together, and we had some kind of loss, but we always knew like, hey, can you see this point or this area? Yeah. Okay. And we'd always get them back. No problem. But they were always together. It wasn't like one guy left by himself. It was like 2, and we always make sure that like nobody goes by themselves, because that's how people end up hurt, dead. I mean, people anymore at the turbo sleds, they can mousetrap themselves so fast, it's not even funny. And then we
experienced it last year. Yep.
Yeah. So there's another guy. I mean, I've been under a sled that flipped over on me. I mean, everybody has, because you want to try something cool and it just doesn't go quite right. But your buddy's there. He comes over, digs you out, and you're good.
Buddy system is key, definitely.
Yep. Under buddies.
Yeah. You guys remember that movie Heavyweights? Buddy!
Yeah.
You remember that part?
Yeah, with the camp, the go-karts and stuff?
Yep, the fat camp. Oh, we got the buddy system. Buddy!
That was a good movie, yeah.
Oh, I know. There's probably some younger listeners like, what are they talking about?
What are they talking about?
Go watch it. Heavyweights. Great movie.
Yep.
So what's your favorite type of terrain to guide on? Like trees, bulls? I'm assuming you probably don't take people up chutes or anything. Maybe.
No, it just depends on the group. That's the biggest thing. Is like, I remember way back when I first started guiding, these guys showed up with revs, all 1.25 paddles, all this stuff, and all they did 136s, and they talked trash all day to each other. And we basically went down the Groom Trail, stopped, and there's a hill, and they all were trying to climb the hill, and they all would talk trash the whole day. Like they weren't mountain sleds in any way that were like, oh man, these guys are going to go somewhere. But I could get them on a hill, and they'd be out there for an hour just talking trash to each other. And then one would get farther back, get a bigger run and make it 10 feet farther and turn out. The whole time they're just spinning track. Like that track's just spinning. It's not gaining anything. Yeah. And then come down and, oh, I made it. And then the other guy would hit it again. And it doesn't matter. It's like, if you're having fun, that's all that matters to me. And being a guide, it's, if the group's having fun, you're having fun, it's enjoyable. Like it's just when it doesn't get enjoyable is when somebody expects like 2 feet of pow, 3 feet of pow, untouched all day, and we haven't had snow in 2 weeks, and I'm finding every honey hole I can find, and there's it's either tracked up or it just hasn't had snow in a while,
Yeah.
and they're upset about it, and it's like, man, I'm trying, but the guys that come out and they're like, I have no expectations. I understand that you haven't had snow in a while, and we can go have fun or we can go complain. And we go out, they have fun all day. We go explore, go find new areas and stuff like that. You're always finding new areas when you're riding. Like I've been in drainages where I've been on both sides, and then I somehow I never drop down a drainage, and it's like amazing riding. And it's like, how did I never come into this area? And when it's not the best ideal snow and you can go do all that stuff, it makes everybody's day better. So it's just, they paid you to show them a good time. Do your best to show them a good time, because that's how you get return clientele. You get the call, you get I mean, I've had guys that have came out and they go to a snowmobile club meeting. Oh, who did you go with? Oh, 3C guiding. And then a week later they call me and want to come out riding. And
Yeah.
oh, it wasn't the best conditions, but we had as much fun as we could. I mean, or it was so deep we couldn't even get off the groom trail. Those days are always good too. So
Yep.
Yeah.
Bad word travels fast, but good word travels just as fast, if not faster. So.
yep. Yeah, and that, I mean, that's the goal. I mean, it's weird because there's still people call me and they've seen a Snow West post from 2013, and they're just like, oh, I googled something and this came up, so I called you, and stuff like that. Or
Yep.
yeah, it's wild. So
I've definitely seen your name for years, for sure.
Yeah. So do you ever like choose terrain or kind of maybe coach your clientele, to like maybe throughout the day, like based on the snowpack and their ability? Are you ever like, hey guys, like the guys on the revs for example, like you're like, you probably shouldn't try that, or do you just say whatever you want to do?
no, there is a threshold that you always keep in your mind of what they can and can't do. I mean, there's been times that there's an old track, up around a tree or whatever, and they're like, can I go? I'm like, no, that's not going to work out very well for you. And then there's the guys that can. You just read them throughout the day on their ability. Like, you're always watching what they're doing. You get to a meadow, okay, that guy can carve on the right side, that guy can do this or whatever, and you just kind of mentally make a checklist of basically of, okay, we can take these guys down this valley and we'll get out the other end. It's gonna be a crap show, but we're all gonna have fun and get out the other end. Or it's like, yeah, we're not going down that one right now. Their ability, or they're tired. We call it just hitting the wall, um, because people can be riding all day doing really well, and then all of a sudden it's like they hit a wall. They can't even put a sled on edge. They can't do anything. They've been climbing hills twice as big, like up through the trees all day long, and they're hitting every single tree on the mountain. And it's just, you're like, okay, like, and then you tell them, hey man, you're smoked, and they're like, no, I'm good. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know.
I still got more in me.
No,
Yeah.
I've been there myself. So
Yeah, you need a side panel now. You're smoked, dude. No, I got it. No, like, yeah, let's go down here. It'll be a little easier. So, but yeah, it's learning it. And there's people that have it, and there's people that don't have it. And you can tell as a guide or working with people and stuff like that, like finding somebody to work for you or whatever, you can see if somebody has that ability to read somebody, or they're going to push themselves or somebody else too far to where somebody's getting hurt. Like we we're never really riding with ourselves, or if I have another guide with me, we'll go rip through the trees or something. But with clients, we're never riding. We always need to make sure that we have more in our tank than they do, and our ability is higher than theirs, because we don't want somebody to get into a situation to where me as a guide, I'm too tired to ride their machine out, or be able to get into their area where they're at or whatever, because they're paying you. They're your responsibility to make sure they get back to the truck at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. What's one misconception that you think that Flatlanders have about mountain riding?
That's a good one. There's, like you said before, that it can't happen to me. There's a lot of that. Um, but there's also that out here too. I mean, there's people in the West that I can't get in an avalanche. I won't get in an avalanche. I won't, like, it can happen. A ton of people don't have like first aid CPR training, just even the basics. There's a lot of that happen that you're just like, all right, guys, you could do a lot better with this. You can save yourself, your friends, your buddies, all that stuff. The other one is, I guess, oh, I'm in shape. That one, yep, I'm in shape. I can do this. Oh, you don't want to leave at 7 a.m.? Well, that's what time I want to leave. Or when they're picking up rental sleds, they want to pick up their sled at 7 a.m. And it's like, no, you're going to be tired. Oh, no, we're going to ride till dark. And it's like, no, you're not. You're not. Like,
No.
go dig your sled out twice and then tell me you're going to do that.
It'll drain your battery pretty quick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's elevation. Like, people just don't, until you've actually really felt it, your lungs on fire, you really don't quite understand that side of it until you think you're in the, I tell people all the time, they're like, what do I need to do or be prepared for? I'm like, be in the best shape of your life, and you're still not in good enough shape, because it's just oxygen. So
Yeah. It's like, put a piece of duct tape over your mouth and put a coffee straw in the center and try breathing through that. That's what it feels like when you get some prayer out west.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can't get past it or anything. It's just the way it is. I mean, I live at 7,200 feet, and I go up there, and yeah, we still breathe hard, let alone come from 100 feet.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true. And that first part, like the whole, it can't happen to me or it won't happen to me, that's a pretty good segue into our next topic, which is the backcountry emergency stuff, and are people prepared?
Yep. Yeah, that one I've had. I mean, like I said, I grew up snowmobiling with my family, all that stuff. We were always over prepared. My dad spent a lot of years in the mountains in the 60s, the 70s, when we had nothing. I mean, there was no, like, you might be able to find a logger that has a CB and be able to get a hold of somebody in town during hunting season or during the summer or whatever, but there wasn't anything but that. So he always, like, hammered in like directions in us. Like, me and my brother, like, we'd be out fishing, going up a creek, what way's the truck, what way's north, all that stuff. Then it's the be over prepared than under prepared. Do you have a first aid kit? Do you have any of this? Do you have first aid CPR? Do you have tools? Because there's so many things that could go wrong out there, and your tools could be a lifesaver. I mean, you could be, you have duct tape. Everybody has duct tape. Okay, well, somebody cut themselves really bad, or so you need to splint something, and you got duct tape. You use a stick, duct tape it on, stuff like that. I mean, I've always been really pushed in that direction, and the more technology comes out, the better. Like, I have all these snowmobiles, I would pay $10 a month to have a spot transmitter on them for an SOS. I would pay $10 a month for all of them.
Yeah.
That would be such a peace of mind that I think should be on every machine. I just like the OEMs need to get together and make this a thing. Like they need to quit arguing about who has the better GPS. It's a safety thing. That's not
100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
7S should work with the Skidoo, should work with the Arctic, should work with any other GPS, just like beacons. Beacons have to be on the same frequency. Why is nobody's GPS working together? Why don't we have inReach or Spot on every single snowmobile? I mean, because that is a thing that people die on the mountain. I mean, you talk to people from Michigan, stuff like that, and they're like, yeah, my sled broke down. I walked 5 feet over and got on the highway and hitchhiked back to the bar where my buddies were at. And then we came out with the truck and loaded it up and took it back. Well, out here, there's no hitchhiking back. I know several people that have been picked up by the groomers, stayed out overnight, all that stuff. If we had some of that technology on the machines, one push the button and search and rescue would be there to help them out. So,
yeah,
but
100%.
But I always say, carry an inReach, carry a Spot. That stuff is cheap insurance. Like, what is your life worth? I ask people all the time. I rent Abbey gear. I don't need that. Well, what's your life worth? It's $35 a day is cheap insurance. And people, I mean, I've had people argue about all my guide trips, everybody has to have beacons. I've had people argue with me about having a beacon on a little kid. I'm like,
wow,
no. Like, do you want me to get you the gun now or after if you get in an avalanche with your kid on the snowmobile and they die and you don't? I mean,
yeah,
it's those
It's
things.
silly.
Yep, and it's cheap insurance. People go spend $25,000 on a snowmobile, buy the equipment to keep you alive. Go out with a first aid kit. Somebody, hey, do you have fire starter? I got a Bic lighter. Well, I personally and all my guides, we carry 4, 5, 6 ways to light a fire. Like if one doesn't work, something else is going to work. Saws. I carry a big bow saw that folds up into, it's the size of a shovel handle. It folds it down. Most people that stay the night on the mountain, they're one of the things that they always say is they wish they had better wood. Because if you're just using your little folding saw, you can only cut so big of wood.
Yeah.
If you got a bow saw, a hatchet, something like that, you can actually cut some pretty big wood that's going to last a while to where you can stay warm longer and not have to
comfortable at least
tromping through the snow to get stuff. And there's just so many different little things that if you just throw in your bag, I mean, everybody's got a tunnel bag, everybody's got a backpack. I mean, yeah, the lightweight world's going crazy right now, but if you have that little bit of weight on your machine, it's going to save, or with you, it could save you or somebody. I mean, as a guide, my tunnel bag's huge with all the stuff that I have in there. And if I wasn't guiding, I'd probably have a way smaller bag, but I'm keeping myself plus all my clients, say, warm, whatever. I have all that stuff. I have extras of all kinds of stuff. I carry extra ski rubbers. I have, I think I got a brake lever in my sled, stuff like that on my bag. It's just those little things that will fix everything, and just being prepared that much helps out.
100%. Yeah, you never know what's going to happen out there. You know,
Yep.
every trip can be a different experience, and something different can happen on every single ride. And the more you have, or the more you know how to do and can make work, can definitely mean the difference between saving your life and not. Definitely.
Yep. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
like everybody should have a USB port on their machine, and they should have a cable for every single electronic that they have with them. Because if your phone is going dead, and that's the way, I mean, like Apple has the impact stuff. I've had clients that have gone off a cornice and hit and fell off, and then search and rescue's up there looking for them because their phone was in their glove box and it rattled and it called search and rescue on them or whatever.
Yeah.
But there's that. If that's your lifeline, you need to have a way to make sure that that thing can stay charged and be charged. Um, because that if that's your lifeline, last year we had a sled actually blow up. Um, don't know what happened. Dude was what one guy owned the sled and he had another sled and his buddy was out there. Something happened to it. We don't even know. Like it actually like pretty much blew up. Um, gas tank was melted off. Like it was
Wow.
wild. Like dude's ears were ringing because it actually boom.
Made such a noise. Wow.
Holy
Yeah,
cow.
and me and one of my other guys, we were on our way to go find our guide, my other guide. His inReach had been hooked up yet. We were still waiting on it or something. It was just a process. And so we're on our way up and he called me. And because we have a time, if it gets to a point, we're going to go up and make sure that we can find them. And we usually know kind of general area they are, but we're going up to get them because of that. And it was definitely, he definitely after that, inReaches were set up. Everybody had them, no matter what. We had them.
Yeah.
Because he could have just sent me a message and been like, "Hey, dude, I'm gonna be 30 minutes late to the truck."
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
So
but everything else he had, it was just that one thing that.
what do you think is proper medical training for everyone who wants to venture into backcountry?
You have to have the basic CPR first aid. I mean, a wilderness first aid is huge. There's a lot of people that, because I've been first aid CPR trained for 20 years. So you go to the your local rec center, and their big thing is, oh, somebody tripped on the curb. Keep them, sustain them, make sure they're okay, and wait for the ambulance. Well, we're in the backcountry. There is no wait for the ambulance. What's worse, the dude crashed the sled, landed on him, broke his leg, but he's in the water. What one do you worry about first? Well, you got to get the dude out of the water to make sure that he survives, and then you need to make sure they're dry. Like, make sure you got to make sure the legs, like, not compound fracture or something worse, but you got to make sure that other stuff is there. And there's a lot of that.
You got to kind of triage them.
Yep. Yeah. You got to make sure that they're taken care of and you're not putting yourself in danger also. I preach this one and I don't know why, but everybody preaches avalanche clinics, classes, all that stuff. I totally agree. But there's so many people that do not have the basic first aid CPR that once you get the person out of the snow, find them, get them out if they're unconscious, that have no idea what to do next.
Oh yeah.
And that's huge. Like, and I preach that to people all the time. Like, go get your first aid CPR. We did there was a guy there was an article out of Jackson that we did an interview on, and they were asking about the deaths and stuff like that on, say, Togedy, with people dying, and if it was at the machines and this and that, Midwest, all that. And then the guy was trying to get something out of me that he couldn't, like, basically. And then finally I said, well, do you have first aid CPR? And he's like, well. And they were trying to push something about snowmobiles on Toby and all this. And I asked him, I said, do you have first aid CPR? Well, I think it lapsed last year. It's like, well, how many people in your group have first aid CPR? Well, I don't know. I'm like, well, we're all in the same boat here. We all need to have all that stuff to make sure that we all are working together at the same time. Because, a lot of people don't know. I actually own a ski, snowboard rental and sales shop here in Laramie now, and I have no issue with anybody that's doing any other sport besides going out in the backcountry and enjoying the winter. And people always look at me as just some motorhead person, and I'm like, yeah, I love snowmobiles, but I have very, very good friends that ski, snowboard, whatever. My wife snowboards. We're going to get my son into it, all that stuff, and it's like we all need to have all this stuff, and we all need to work together to for it to work.
100%. And then the scary part about it is you're relying on me and I'm relying on you to save each other's life. It's not I'm going to save my own life. I'm relying on who I'm riding with to save my life, and that's a big big factor.
Yeah.
So
Well,
Yeah, I mean, you can go clear up. I mean, clear up wilderness, first responder. I mean, all that stuff. Yeah. If you're search and rescue stuff like that, okay, yeah, that is like a baseline. All of us have wilderness first aid. We have been there, fixed people. I mean, we have all kinds of different things that we carry because we've been in the backcountry where somebody's broke their leg. I mean, I've airlifted two people off the mountain just free riding. One guy broke his femur, another guy blew out his knee. And it was keeping them calm, all that stuff, all the things that you don't realize, like preventing shock. Another one, family members. If your family member, your dad, your brother, your wife, whatever is there, they could end up going into shock themselves or making the situation worse.
being hysterical. Yeah.
Yep. The one guy, he blew out his knee. His dad was there. His dad was freaking out. We said, okay, go find cell service. Go call wife, mom, all the people you think you need to call to let know what's going on and all this stuff, and figure out everything that we need to figure out. You go send two people, dad, whatever, go find cell service, make those calls, because they're just making the situation worse and can put the person in shock because they're freaking out. Like, the always thing is like, how bad is it? Like, there's people who are like, oh no, like that's horrible. That puts somebody in shock where it's like, how bad is it? Oh, it's not bad. We got this taken care of, but you stay here, don't move, whatever.
Yeah. Probably yelling like, oh my God, there's blood everywhere. That's not going to be good for anybody.
Yeah. But those are you don't realize how fast shock. I mean, it could be like the one guy that blew his knee out. It was probably 45 degrees on the mountain that day. And he was laying on the snow. We got him off the snow, waiting for a helicopter, put everything underneath him. I mean, and everybody just had their coats in their backpack because it was so hot. Everybody was riding in like base layer almost, or a jersey or whatever. So we all had gear piled on top of him and keeping him warm with space blankets, all this stuff, because once that shock sets in, it's bad. And especially when you are not close to anything that can help you.
Yeah.
That can really turn really bad fast.
Yeah.
And in like not only medical training, what else do you have in your bag? Do you have extra gloves? Do you have extra socks? Do you have base layer? Do you have all that stuff? And I mean, there's a lot of people that go out without any of that stuff, and conditions can turn quick in the mountains.
Oh, well, that kind of goes into our next questions here, and it's kind of two-part almost. What gear do you consider necessary to go out into the backcountry, and what do you take for first aid as far as necessary stuff for that?
So as far as gear, like, I mean, the mountains layer. Your insulated gear from the Midwest, don't bring, because it is too hot. So you're sweating, then you're sweating through all your gear. So if something happens, you get cold.
Oh yeah.
All that stuff freezes up. That's just one of the worst things you can do. You layer up, you wear your non-insulated You get non-insulated gear. Um, you couple base layer, maybe two pairs of base layer, mid layer, outer layer, couple pairs of sock. Always have an extra pair of socks. Vacuum seal. Put them in a bag, vacuum seal it closed, smashes them down. A puffy coat. They all come in bags. You can jam them in there because those things are awesome. I don't. One year I went through my backpack and let's say like the end of February, I had like 7 extra pairs of gloves in my bag because I just forgot about it. Just jammed another set, jammed another set. I don't know why, but I ended up with so many. Like, no wonder this thing is so heavy. Um, so yeah, a couple pairs of gloves, a couple pairs of goggles, uh, all your extra fire starter, extra food, all that stuff. You need to have all of it. Um, don't make your sled carry everything. I have, I basically have a shovel on my bag, in my backpack, shovel probe, beacon always on top on you, extra shovel on my sled. So if I need a shovel, I'm not taking my backpack off in a sketchy situation.
Or get
Um,
separated. Yep.
always have like two first. I carry a smaller first aid kit on me in my backpack, and then a better first aid kit on my sled because if something happens and your sled is gone, you have what's on you. There's a lot of people that want to put everything on the sled and wear as little as they can on themselves, but you always need to make sure you have some water, food, first aid kit, tools, shovel, probe. That is like basic stuff that you need to have on you, and usually an extra pair of gloves and fire starter. Because if something happens to your sled, it's buried in an avalanche, it goes off a cliff, it ends up in a lake, in a river, whatever. You have the basics. Your inReach or whatever like that communication. I always I always clip it on the back of my backpack because it's not going to interfere with my transceiver, which is on the front of me. If it's on my backpack, it's not going to interfere. So those things are like on you. Make sure you have like tourniquet, tape, some kind of rope. Um, I the guy that broke his ankle, I used mule tape and 2 shovel handles to splint his leg to get him out, and it worked perfect. Use some tape, all that basic tools. Skidoo makes it. I talked a bunch of crap about the Skidoo toolkit until I used it. Now all my guys have them. Everything. They're awesome toolkits. If Polaris makes one, whatever, like they're making them to fit with the sled to where you can put them on the sled. Basic toolkit. I carry a bunch more tools anyway. Couple saws, um, chargers for all your devices.
Everything. Yep.
So,
Yeah, it's a pretty good list, and the thing that I just want to emphasize real quick because some of our listeners might be like, "Well, Cameron's out west, like he's in the mountains, like we're riding in the UP or we're riding in the Lower Peninsula, like do we really need all this?" Maybe you don't need everything, but there's a lot of stuff that he's talking about that I really think that most people go out, they go out riding without it. And just because they're it's almost like they're lured into a false sense of security because, you know, well, if we just walk, 5 miles, we'll get to a town. Well, what if you can't walk? What if you smoked a tree, your buddy smoked a tree and he's dead? And I know I'm painting a pretty grim scenario here, but it's real. What are you going to do? I mean, we've had people get lost in the UP and they've had to spend the night out in the woods. I mean, there's not good cell service in a lot of spots up there. So, there's a lot of this. I just want to make sure that everybody correlates that, yeah, maybe you're not riding out west, maybe you are, but even in Michigan, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that you should have, like, your basic CPR, first aid kit, and a lot of the stuff that you mentioned. So I just want to make sure people aren't like, well, this is for mountain riding. What about Midwest boondocking? Well, the thing is too, is a lot of places where, like Western UP, and well, actually anywhere in the UP, let's just call it what it is, where you can get out pretty far, and if something happens and you need to be hauled out, you can get pretty far away from town to the point where how are they going to get you? They're going to try to find you on a snowmobile. If you don't have cell service, like you don't know where you're at because there's no landscape features. I mean, this is just stuff to think about. So anyway,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and I've had a lot of clients that have came out here that actually quit riding in the UP because they did have friends die that have hit trees, stuff like that. And they're just like, you know what? I'm done. I enjoy the mountains, and that's just where they're like. I like the speed on the trails, and you miss a corner, you get in somebody's snow dust. There's accident.
oh
They're
yeah,
just like they started coming out west because it's slower pace, all that stuff,
Yeah.
and they're like I'm getting what I was getting out there doing 120 down the Grim Trails. I'm getting out here doing 20 miles an hour through the trees.
exactly.
So
Yeah,
and yeah, you mean
100% correct. There's a lot of guys in our
you
group,
you go by
in the stage that do that, that are like, I don't ride trails anymore because, people are bar hopping and these sleds. So, and we've talked about this on a previous episode, but just a sled that you can get right out of the box is so fast and so powerful that they just are like, I got to keep that flipper all the way to the bar. And, I'm not knocking anybody that's doing that, whatever. It's your own life, but you got to think about other people too. But people go so fast, and it's almost like, well, my sled's new, it probably handles great, whatever, and everything's great until it's not. And there's been people that have been in accidents and had close calls, and they're just like, you know what, I just want to get away from people. I want to get away out in the woods, maybe do 15, 20 mile an hour, like you said, through a meadow, through trees where nobody's going to hit me.
yeah, and that I mean yeah we still people hit themselves in the metal carving because the powder's so deep they come together and don't even realize it or whatever. I mean, but it's but there's also like you said with the first aid kit, there's you could I don't know, a lot of our trees you can go by. The hardwoods out there, they don't give when you go by, and they might. I mean, it's easy enough to get cut by something that you do need a first aid kit to get it closed up or whatever. Or I mean, duct tape. We've had I've had so many people that rip the whole inseam off their pants, and you got to duct tape from their ankle clear to their crotch because it ripped it that much of their pants right on the seam. It's just you never even realize you don't think about those things until it happens, and you're like, oh, good thing there's half a roll of duct tape in
Yeah.
that bag that I totally forgot was even in there.
Yeah.
So,
That's a big thing that I've experienced, and I know many other people have, just being in the backcountry, is you have to adapt and overcome to whatever situation you're in because you never know what it's going to be from one day to the next. And being prepared is 100% can be life-saving.
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the other thing um, kind of like the Grim thing is like, who's at home? Like, what's your life worth? Who's at home? Because I mean, I had friends that that lived in the Midwest, and they would always hear about somebody, or they had friends, or their snowmobile club member that son had to go home without dad because of an avalanche, or the opposite, or friends, or something like that. And yeah, there's people from the West that die, but also when I mean, that goes back to guiding. Like we we know the areas that are safe to be in and not be messing around on. Oh, that hill slides. That hill slid 4 times this year, just because of the way the wind's been loading it up and stuff. Stay off of that hill. To where if somebody's coming out and hasn't been in that area all year or anything like that, they're climbing on that hill, and all of a sudden it snaps off and somebody's buried or somebody's hurt. So
Yeah. And then you dig them out, and kind of going back to what you said earlier. Now you got to do, okay, they're unconscious, they're not breathing. Now what do you do? And
yep.
and it's so it's so true. And I'm going to kind of tap into my experience in the, in the firefighting EMT world. I've been to, I wouldn't say a bunch, but I've been to a couple calls where we show up to a cardiac arrest and the person's laying there and everybody's standing around looking, and they're like, and we start working on them and they're like, well, we just didn't know what to do. They'll straight up tell you, like, we didn't know if we should touch him or not. And it's like, well, you, they might have had a pretty good shot if you would have started, chest compressions as soon as you saw them fall out. But now, or they'll, I could go into a bunch of different examples, but
Or they don't want to be sued. They don't want
yeah,
to be sued. And
yeah,
there's all kinds of laws, and you find out about that stuff at these first aid CPR classes. Like,
exactly.
somebody's unconscious, you have full rights to do
Yeah.
whatever.
You have good
They're
Samaritan
not, you
laws that
ask
protect
them.
you.
Yep. And if they aren't unconscious and you ask them and they say no, don't touch me, just you back up and be like, sorry, and then you wait for them to pass out, then you go work on them, kind of
Yeah.
thing. You make sure that they survive. That's the thing, is there's all those laws and rules and all that. And I mean, snowmobiling, half the time it's their buddy is there, so I mean,
Yeah.
he's gonna say, yep, get, like, we're saving him. I don't need to hear his wife or something like that. I don't want to deal with his wife yelling
Yeah,
at me
me
for the
come
next
back home without him.
20
Yeah.
years. Yeah. Yep.
I'll give
So,
you guys another example real quick. And I know it's a little off subject, but kind of on topic. But I literally had a call like right down the road from me come through today where this person, went in a cardiac arrest, and they literally told the 911 operator, and it's all in the notes that I get on my phone, that they refuse to do CPR. Why, I don't know, but my buddies showed up and they started working this person. I don't know what the outcome is, but I'm just like, why would you refuse on a family member? And it's just, maybe they didn't know what to do. And it's probably not because I didn't like them, obviously, but they
yeah.
probably, I'd hope not, but it's probably because they don't know what to do, and they'll tell you. But some people are like, they start, pushing on a chest and they hear the cartilage separating from the ribs and it freaks them out. And it's like, yeah, that's just how it's supposed to be done. And people are like, oh, I'm done, I don't want to do it. Well, if
Yep.
you want to, how important is your friend or family member? Like, do something.
Yep.
So,
Oh yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, is I mean, my dad was a volunteer firefighter for 25 years. My grandfather started the fire department in DuBois there.
that's
They didn't
awesome.
want to
Hats
do
off
any
to
of that
him.
stuff. But yeah, that's the thing, is they didn't want to do any of that stuff, but there was a need for it. So they
Yep.
did it. And that's the thing, is anybody that does that for a living or even volunteer, like, it's amazing. You guys are amazing people. And but those are the things, is like, you go learn all that stuff. That my wife's a nurse. I tell everybody, I bring my own nurse with me everywhere I go. Like, you're going scuba diving? Yeah, but I got my nurse with me. Oh, you're going? Yep, I got my nurse with me though. So, but that's the thing, is if you don't know the basics, I mean, I have the basics. If something happens to her, my son, whatever, I have the basics, and more. I mean, I have more than just the basics, but just having the basics with your family members is beyond huge.
Peace of
And
mind for sure. Yeah.
what's a weekend or 2 days to go to a clinic or class, or one day to go to a class that costs you $50 or $100? That's nothing for you to go learn and be, and maybe it clicks something in your head, and then all of a sudden you're down the rabbit hole for the next 4 years, and all of a sudden you are a first responder. You like, man, I didn't even think of this, and now you're riding in ambulances and stuff every day for a job. Like, you never know. I got plenty of friends that have changed occupations because they went to a class or something like that, and they were like, that was awesome. So
Yeah. No, and that's good. And my hope and my goal, and I'd like to say that we hit our goal, is just to, just to kind of bring awareness to this, and just kind of let everybody know, like, hey, what should I pack in my snowmobile, especially because we do have a lot of guys in the Midwest that head out west. But what should we pack? and what should we do? Because some people just don't know where to go to get resources or learn about this stuff or whatever, um, or they just don't know what they should have.
And if you are buying a first aid kit, I mean, there's some really good ones on Amazon, stuff like that, that are cheap
Yep.
that you can. Everybody gets one, the same one. Like, okay, there's scissors in this one, there's a tourniquet in this one, there's this and this. Everybody knows, because if it's I'm doing something on somebody and my it's in my backpack, I can say get my first aid kit out of my backpack. You pull it out of the backpack and throw it on the other person, and you start using it. So yeah, that's those are huge, because a lot of people don't quite realize that those little things could be huge, because there's a lot of people buy the same exact Avi bag, same exact beacon, same exact everything. Hey, in this pocket on every one of our bags is our shovel, our probe, all that stuff. There's people that carry bags, like dry bags, and they all are labeled. Like, they already know red one is fire, yellow one is tools. I mean, they all have the exact same stuff in their bags, in the identical bags, so they never have to even think about it. And they've gone through their first aid kits, and they know exactly what's in there. They they go, oh, you know what'd be good in here? Like, one guy's gone through something once, and like, oh, we should put some electrical tape or something in there, or oh, that I had that lighter, or uh, cotton balls with Vaseline. Those worked awesome. Like, oh, don't use those one. Don't use this kind of fire starter because it didn't work well in the cold. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff.
Oh yeah,
And
tampon in the gasoline tank.
yep, yeah. I mean, and
Just
that's
saying.
there's so many people that don't understand that your seat comes off of your sled, your side panels. Like, you can elevate yourself off the snow and have a baby sack. They build those the baby sacks now that are sleeping bags or entire coats and all that stuff to stay warm. I mean, those are cheap, and they're smashed down so small that you can. And I've wore one of them just on the mountain one day as in a class to see how warm they were. And I mean, it was insane how warm you stayed in one of those the baby sack coats. And it's like, man, everybody should have one of these in their bag. That's one of those
Yeah.
things that goes clear at the bottom of your tunnel bag that you never look at, besides once a year when you clean your tunnel bag out at the end of the year to make sure, or at the beginning of the year to make sure everything's in there. And you go, oh, yeah, it's still in here. Let's go. So,
Yeah. Nope, that's good. And this is probably a good time to have this conversation. I know we were kind of going back and forth for weeks trying to iron out a date and all that, but I'm glad we got this kind of before the season kicks off for everybody, because maybe, if we would have done this in January or February, maybe it'd have been too late before somebody heard this to do something about it, or to change a habit or add something. So I'm glad this is in the beginning, because now people are like, hey, you know what? We listened to Cameron. This is what he said we should do. And, they'll, be better prepared for this season in case there's an emergency or anything like that. So,
yeah. And like,
yeah.
that's the thing is I'm like, message me on social media and ask me a question about, hey, would this be good, or that be good, or whatever, because they're more than likely we've tried everything, a lot of things out there for different fire starters, stuff like that. I mean, you can go spend hundreds of dollars on fire starter at the store. Well, there's some of them that are made for only warm weather. They won't
Yeah.
work very well in cold weather, and a lot of people don't understand that the wood's frozen too. It's had water in it all fall. It was wet. It froze. It takes a while to get it going, and you don't realize that until it's too late. Your hands don't even work anymore. You need a fire, and your hands don't work anymore because you're so cold. So
Yeah. Well, and and hopefully, and that's if you pack the right gear and all that other stuff, so you can stay warm through the night, so you don't go hypothermic. And yeah, there's just a lot to think about that most people probably are just like, well, I'll be okay. Like, it doesn't happen. And I remember, oh my gosh, this is probably 8, 9 years ago. I was reading on Snow West, and it was on the forums, and it was a person that had been out riding, and they got down into like a riverbed or something. They went down a hill and they couldn't get back out, and they literally camped out on the mountain, and they were talking about their experience about, this is what we had, this is what we didn't have, and we should have, and they were okay. Search and rescue came and got them the next day. They had to have their sleds helied out, but just reading that post, it was like, wow, it's almost like scared straight. It definitely did it for them, but just me reading it, I was like, man, like, I know I don't have that stuff in my sled. And even if I were to, something were to happen in Michigan, I'd be screwed. If I was by myself for some reason or got separated and got hurt, I'd be SOL, So
Go build some shelters. Try it. See what works. Go build shelters. Like, be like, all right, I know exactly what I need to do. Go try it. See if it works. Because there's a lot of times that you're like, all right, yeah, I got it figured out. A lot of people say, like, all right, well, a fire just keeps going down in the snow as it burns. You're on 10 feet of snow. Your fire is 10 feet down within 4 hours. So how are you going to stay warm with your fire 10 feet below you?
Yeah.
So,
no, that's true. Got to go on YouTube and watch a little, what is that, the Outdoor Boys, where he camps in Alaska.
Yeah.
I watched him a couple of times. Yeah. I've learned a couple things from him, like, it's actually a pretty good idea. And he's going out there when it's like 15 below. And yeah, I've learned a couple things from him. I'm like, this is actually, it's entertaining to watch, but it's also pretty educational. So
yeah, it's funny. He's out there doing stuff with his kids, and then he's like, all right, get in the sleeping bag. And he hands them a tablet, and he just keeps working. Or they're watching movies in there. Oh, you want some hot chocolate? Oh, yeah, here you go.
Yeah. And the people are like, how can you take your kids out in that weather? Blah, blah. I'm like, that's freaking awesome. Like, they're having a great time.
Yep. Yeah. My kid loves the mountains and being outdoors and all that stuff. And yeah, you teach them. And look at 100 years ago in Wyoming, where, there were ranchers, stuff like that. Back in the day, my grandfather at 8 years old, he was a sheep herder, and he was on the mountain at 8 years old by himself with the sheep. There's not many people who are going to put their 8-year-old on the mountain for a week at a time.
No, it's because of your grandpa. We have laws against that now.
Yeah, right. Yep.
Yeah. Well, we're over an hour. We're pushing about an hour 15. So I think we could probably start winding it down. This has been an awesome episode, man. It's been great talking to you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
it was good.
Just a ton of information. We had, full disclosure here, we had probably 8, 9, 10 questions that we were going to ask you, but you pretty much covered all of them without us asking, and then some.
I do want to ask one more, though.
Oh, Nick's got one.
just for some resources that if people are looking to get better educated about backcountry safety, can you give us some pointers on where to go for looking for resources for that type of stuff?
There is always like outdoor shops and stuff like that doing like shields, stuff like that. They're doing first aid, CPR classes. Your local veteran, like the local vets are killing it on the first aid, CPR type stuff. Like they are teaching it. They've gone through hell the last 25 years, basically. So there is a lot of those dudes that can teach you a lot of stuff that have actually became instructors for that type of stuff. And they're willing to go teach the medical stuff because they had done it and they've been out there and done all that stuff. The guy that I do my first aid CPR with, usually he was a Marine, stuff like that. So he talks about that kind of thing. So, there's just, and you just got to look a little bit, and go try out stuff. Go buy fire starters, different fire starters. Go buy flint steel. Go buy first aid kits. Look at first aid kits. Good. After you find a first aid kit on, say, Amazon, go find your local first responder or buddy or whatever and be like, hey, does this look good? Because if they go, yeah, oh yeah, send that to me. I want to buy it. That's the one that you want. If they're like, or yeah, I guess that'd be good, then don't buy that. Go find another one until they go, yeah, that's the one that I would buy. So,
yep. Yeah. And for the CPR and stuff like that, a lot of, local fire departments offer it. Sometimes police stations offer classes, but American Heart Association, if you just Google them, they have a whole directory and they have places that you can get certified. So,
and if you're outdoors, do the wilderness first aid. Don't do just the basic. Do a basic one and then get the basics and then go to wilderness first aid, because you'll learn a lot more on being in the backcountry. And tell them that you want to focus on winter, not summer, because then you're not talking about snake bites and sunburns and stuff like that. If you do winter type stuff, you're talking hyperthermia and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's a good point too, because we don't care about no snake bites in the middle of winter and sunburns, right?
Yep.
I've gotten sunburned quite a few times while snowmobiling, but
Yep. Yeah. You don't have very dark hair there. You definitely reflect pretty well off the sun.
Yeah. One day when in Cook City, the guy at the front desk stopped me and was like, walked in the back room and came out and gave me sunscreen and lotion. He's like, put this on tonight, put this on tomorrow. And I'm like, I was riding my goggles up a little bit too much today.
Yeah, I got a red-haired kid. We definitely make sure he's covered. So
yeah, for sure. So, all right, well, we'll wind it down and wrap it up. But Cameron, man, I appreciate it. I know Nick does too, but we appreciate you coming on here and carving, just spending some time with us, talking about this stuff. It's such an important topic that I don't think gets enough attention. I don't know if I've ever heard a podcast that covers everything that we just, covered, but, man, just a ton of information. We were listening so intently, or at least I forgot all about the questions I was supposed to ask. I'm like, this is just trying to download it all right into the dome.
Yeah. And I'm not even I'm just a regular guy that does it. So, you go talk to a first responder and they'll blow your mind on just the different things that you could be using or whatever out there that you would never thought.
Yeah. And for me, I know what we would use because we have a fully stocked rig and an ambulance and everything there. But for someone like you putting your twist on it, it's different, they don't train us how to use snow shovel handles to splint. The principle's the same, but you know what I mean? Like getting creative and what people should carry and all that other stuff. So it's definitely good to get that input.
These work amazing to put stuff in. You're not gonna get a hole in them to lose stuff. Like use those bottles, and then get the single, not the dual, to melt snow in on the fire.
Yep. If you're not watching on video, he held up a water bottle.
The duals don't get the dual insulated ones.
Yeah,
they won't get hot on the inside. Yeah. And if they're just a regular aluminum bottle, they'll get hot on the inside and melt snow, all that stuff. Because
there you go.
Water, you have to have water.
Yeah.
And snow makes a lot of water. Just don't eat snow because that'll put you in hypothermia faster.
Yep. So, all right, guys. Well, we're gonna sign off here. But Cameron, thanks again. Appreciate it, man. It was awesome.
Thank you.
Yep. Have a good one. Thank you.
All right, we'll see you guys.